School's out and so are the ferries as tens of thousands walk off the job in Sydney's largest strike in decades.
Shame, very shame.
It's outrageous that parents have been put to great inconvenience, particularly by a pointless teachers' strike, which is not going to change government policy.
Good evening, Jeremy Fernandez with ABC News. It was the biggest rally seen in New South Wales in a generation. Schools were closed and harbour ferries ground to a halt as an estimated 30,000 government workers walked off the job. Teachers, nurses, police officers and firefighters were among those marching on State Parliament. They were protesting against the government's plan to cut 5,000 jobs, and they were angry about a 2.5% cap on pay rises, which they say effectively amounts to a pay cut. The Premier said the public had been pointlessly inconvenienced and that the government won't be changing its mind. Andrew Gagan reports.
They came from around the state, a show of union strength against cuts to public sector jobs and conditions.
We're not gonna take it. We're not taking it, Barry. Oh!
Organisers put the turnout at 30,000 people.
If the Premier, if he had any doubts about the level of anger amongst public sector workers and the committee at large over his policies, then all he needs to do is to have a look out his window up here in Parliament House and all of those doubts will be dispelled.
No, look, this is the union movement attempting to flex its muscle, inconveniencing the public pointlessly because the policy will not change.
Teachers walked off the job for 24 hours in defiance of a ruling by the Industrial Relations Commission, forcing the closure of 600 public schools. They're furious that pay increases will be below the current rate of inflation.
Then our wages will be cut.
There were people inconvenienced today because the Teachers Federation decided to ignore the very body they claim to be protecting.
Police officers joined in, even though they've been given an exemption from the cap on pay rises.
Today, police officers are marching against injustice. When we see it out on the street, we stand up. When we see it in crime, we stand up. But today we see it in the New South Wales government.
Sydney Ferries here to stay.
Ferry services were suspended when staff walked off the job without warning. Within earshot of the protest, the opposition leader was delivering his budget reply speech.
That sound that you'll hear today is the cry of betrayal from tens of thousands of nurses, teachers, police, firefighters and other public sector workers. Their wages and conditions king hit by this Premier's decision to bring back the worst of work choices.
When you mess with public sector workers' rights, then the public sector will move heaven and earth to remove you from government.
Shame, very shame.
This may be just the start of a concerted campaign of industrial chaos for New South Wales. While that may not mean ongoing strike action, the unions want to make life as difficult as possible for the New South Wales government. Andrew Gagan, ABC News.